So you mentioned three key issues that companies often have sort of inherent problems with Malta. And that's the domestic market size, the labour force and the infrastructure. Could you just elaborate on some of those?
Yes, I think in terms of infrastructure, over the last years, the country has made significant strides ahead in the sense that the number of international submarine connectivity cables between Malta and the European continent has largely increased from one physical submarine cable to four cables traveling on different routes and owned by three different operators. In terms of the local infrastructure, I think that also most of the challenges are being overcome as we speak, mainly due to the fact that the country is covered by two broadband infrastructures, physical fixed broadband infrastructures covering over 98% of the territory, and also a wireless infrastructure, which is a 3.5G infrastructure, which is also covering practically all the territory and also reaching any rural areas which Malta may have. I think this, coupled with the fact that Malta is very keen on the fiber to the home project, which over the coming years should be effectively commenced. I think that most of the concerns which any major IT or IT-enabled service provider could have about allocation in terms of operating data-related services, it would be in a position to effectively fulfill all the required services in a resilient way, in a redundant way, and obviously in a secure manner.
And when I've heard most people talk about fibre to the home, they're talking about consumers, consumer IT, bridging the digital divide, this kind of thing. But what kind of advantages does it give Malta if every property is broadband connected in terms of helping business?
I think the advantage it gives obviously is in terms of the services that can be delivered over this kind of infrastructure. The fiber to the home infrastructure, like all previous infrastructures which promised and which have delivered higher data delivery speeds, obviously will enable the growth of the information economy, the growth of the information society in and of itself. That has been proven time and again all over the world that faster networks, faster speed networks have created more economic value, more intelligent infrastructures basing themselves upon this fiber infrastructure. I firmly believe that if we manage to build a national fiber to the home network too, it could also serve as one of the very first national bases which has a complete fiber to the home infrastructure across all the territory, which could be a great testing platform for some of the most innovative infrastructures which could be happening over fiber over the coming years. Keep in mind that fiber is an infrastructure in and of itself. It does not deliver anything different than what the traditional copper wires would be delivering, but the application and the market for creating the applications, I think that is where the vision of having a fiber-based nation is poised to deliver.
Okay, we're about to see Smart City open the first phase in Malta, but in the European Union you're not allowed to create free export zones, these kind of especially competitive areas. How will this help the high-tech, IT-enabled service industry in Malta when you can't apply these sort of particular tax advantages?
Yes, I think Smart City will offer primarily two advantages for both local IT or IT-enabled provider or an international provider. I think the first is the creation of a specifically dedicated campus for these kind of operations. I think the country today still lacks a holistic campus to attract the right players and providing them with the right infrastructure and with the right environment. And invariably, any leading player wanting to establish an operation in Malta would invariably also be looking at where to establish that operation. Today, as we speak, the country doesn't have its dedicated campus for this kind of IT operation, and I think that Smart City will obviously provide it. Secondly, the fact that Smart City is driven by a group which has managed to create a number of internationally renowned clusters, internationally renowned facilities and managed facilities to base upon knowledge-based services, knowledge-based activities, will also, I would say, help to attract a captive audience, in the sense that Smart City can tap into the clusters of the 7 infrastructures which already exist in Dubai, and which are declared to be also exported into an international environment. So I think those 2 elements together will invariably create the potential for Smart City delivering. However, as I said before, Smart City will benefit from the overall national development in terms of these services. Smart City on its own can never be a success, but Smart City within the global knowledge economy of Malta will definitely be poised for success. And ultimately, this is also why Smart City was chosen in Malta, because at the end of the day, there's a thriving knowledge economy, there's a thriving information society, and obviously these 2 elements are strong fundamental pillars for the creation of a campus like Smart City is.
Okay, and finally, the Malta IT agency has worked with some significant foreign suppliers, as well as the smaller local suppliers. Could you just talk about maybe one of the projects where you've worked with one of the international best-of-breed partners, but then that's also created work with local suppliers, or there's been a knowledge transfer to Malta?
Okay, I think the most recent case which comes to mind is the smart metering project, which the government has run jointly with IBM. IBM had won a competitive international tender for the deployment of smart meters in all the Maltese houses and in all the businesses, basically each single consumer of water and electricity. And essentially, this was linked towards the creation of a smart grid, of a smart metering grid, which was primarily driven by efficiencies and energy management, and how we could use technology to effectively decrease the consumption of energy and enable the consumer consumption in line with the emerging and with the growing concerns of energy consumption. I think that IBM have created a showcase. The fact that the project is running, the project is on track and has also captured the headlines of IBM itself. Case in point, for a whole week, the project was on the homepage of IBM in the States. I think that has given not just further jobs to Maltese employees in the IT sector, both for those working directly for IBM and those working for the subcontractors locally, but also a very strong and high visibility for the fact that Malta is a thriving information economy, a place where these large players can not simply sell their products, but they can use their products to show that through these innovations, the modern challenges of being greener, of managing the climate concerns through the application of technology, of being more efficient in terms of domestic consumption. I think this is really the complete fulfillment of how the application of technology and how Malta, despite being a small nation, can be at the forefront of of partnering with players like IBM and also large players of their likes to deliver such platforms.